Hello folks, hope you're having a wonderful start to your week. It's Tuesday here, and it's going to be a bit of a chilled one today because we've got some quite serious subject matter, to be honest with you. If you like what I do, the subscribe button is down below, and the Patreon button is also down below. If you want to be involved in the monthly prize draw, which will be drawn on early August. I haven't decided on a date yet, but early August. The top prize is £50 worth of models from Composite Games, and the second prize will be a Deathwing Command box set as well. The more models I get handed to me to give out, the more I will give away during the prize draw, because I want to make sure you guys get something for supporting the channel, so thank you very much. And also, a big thank you to Over the Weekend. We have now raised a couple of $100 for men's mental health charities like Movember and things like that. I'm really happy with that, so thank you to all of you who supported that over the weekend. We'll be doing that every month with our prize draws. Let's move on, shall we? Because today's subject matter is not great. I'm going to be honest with you, it is not great. First things first though, as you can tell by the title, it is, does the hobby have a serious problem? And that serious problem is how it treats women in the hobby. Before any of you jump the gun and start accusing me of being some sort of simp or some sort of person who is looking for clout, first of all, you know me. I'm not a guy who comes on here and derides the hobby or the people in it without cause. Okay? But I'm a man at the end of the day, and my allegiance when it comes to mental health and getting the most out of life in terms of happiness will always be with men. It's what I identify with. It's who I am. Look at it this way. I understand around 80% of all suicides are men. Men suffer from mental health issues like depression, schizophrenia, and ADHD at a much higher rate than women. Most of the population within prisons are men. Most of the people in high stress, high danger, debilitating work are men. I'm with you. This does not mean, however, that I cannot have empathy for another situation or call something out when I see it as wrong. Too many times in the world these days, if you call something out on one side, it must mean you're all on that side, and you can't think more than one thing at once in the world right now, right? As you all know, in terms of politics, I have some things I'm on the right with and some things I'm on the left with. And I'm always told by people on the far right and the far left, well, if you think that way, then you're on the far right. Or if you think that way, then you're on the far left. No, mate, I have a functioning brain. And that's how functioning brains work. They think critically, they analyse things, and they come to their own conclusions. So, just because I may get my knickers in a twist about certain things that are going on in the hobby in terms of women in the hobby doesn't mean that I don't recognise that men have it bad too. Please, absolutely make sure that you know that that's where I'm coming from. Alright? Okay, moving on. So, I've been thinking about doing this video for a while, and a few days ago, one of the long-time viewers of the channel and mods of the Discord reached out with the response she posted to a simple picture of her with her cat and the model. I will share that later, but it did awaken something in me to get writing and finally do this video. I've been meaning to redo this video for a while. This is the kind of video I did back on the channel when it first started blowing up, and I didn't write scripts back then, I didn't really do much research back then, I shot from the hip, and I told you what I thought about certain things without thinking them through, or really getting people's opinion on things. Well, this time, I remedied that by going out and actually getting statements from people in the hobby. Which is huge. I was quite excited about that when I started getting them back. So, I've been thinking about doing this video for a while, as I've just said. I do consider the person who I'm going to share the evidence of later a friend, and I did cover a similar video about this a while ago, but on this channel we look at all aspects of the social and mental side of the hobby. This is unfortunately one of those times when a lot of you guys will have to just sit there and listen to me administer some pretty bitter tasting medicine. So, I did the reaching out over the last few days to ladies in the hobby, asking them a simple brief. Do they feel welcome in the hobby? Or do they feel pushed away or cast aside by the hobby? I'll read a few statements here and share a bit of evidence from Kaya, who will be on here later on. She won't be appearing in the video in voice, as she's probably busy building the Tyranid half of the Leviathan box set, and probably squeeing like a teenager at this point, to be honest with you. Because some of the models in that for Tyranid players are pretty sweet. I got my own box set here last night, and I've been looking over it, and my god, if I was a Tyranid player, I would be creaming my pants right now. But I will share my initial thoughts when we go over her evidence a bit later on. By the way, I know Kaya, right? And she has sent me reams of evidence over the years, and we sit there and we have a bit of a laugh about it and a talk about it, and I commiserate with her, and then we move on with our days, right? So, just because I'm showing you one piece of evidence, that doesn't mean there isn't more, and if you would like more, I'm sure I can get it and post it on a Dropbox or something like that for you all to have a look at. There's no problem, right? Just let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll upload, and I'll get Kai's permission and upload the rest of it. If you feel like you have been doxxed, like you are somebody on Reddit who has said something really nasty to somebody for no reason at all, then they have a pair of tits, and you feel doxxed because I haven't blurred out your username, suck it up, champ. You put yourself out there, this is what you get. Alright? Cool. Moving on. Remember, the brief for the question I asked when I emailed out, and I reached out to different content creators and different Instagram people and different YouTubers and even people in the Discord, my brief was, as a woman, do you feel welcome in the 40k space? Alright? Not the overall space of the entire hobby as itself. Right? Not that. I mean, like, in general, do you feel welcome in this space? Just 40k. So if you're in Malifaux or whatever like that, it might not apply to you, but we'll see. It might still be interesting. Anorio Chic from Calabasas, and she told me to say it's not Anorio Chick, it's Anorio Chic. So sorry for getting that wrong when we spoke. She says, in response to, as a woman, do you feel welcome in the 40k space? And she says, most of the time, totally. I will quote here, quote, most of the time, totally, yeah. It's one of those clique hobbies though, and dudes have to put up with it a lot too. Sometimes you don't fit in with a certain group and are pushed out, which is fine. It's their group. I'll find another one. The issue is when people assume I know nothing about the hobby, or that when I post an Instagram pic with a model, they will assume I'm some sort of hobby e-girl or something. They look at this as their space. Why should a woman be here when they've been rejected by women all of their life? I'm sorry that sounds a bit harsh, I guess, but yeah, that's the prevailing attitude, I think. Okay, a very interesting thing pulled up there that I wanted to touch on. And I think this is kind of true, because this is kind of true about normal guys. What some women need to understand, right? Normal guys, as in guys who are... I've got friends who are quite good looking, right? Dudes who are quite good looking, have good jobs, very well adjusted, and they're in the hobby. Those guys get shit from other hobbyists, right? They get attitude problems, they're accused of cheating, they're accused of not really being in the hobby, of not being good at the game, and things like that, simply because of how they look. It's revenge of the nerds time. This is their space. They treat it like it's their space. You are here at their behest, at their pleasure, right? You have to remember, a lot of people in this hobby have been talked down to and, bullied, for quote-unquote, by people that are normal for all of their lives. They've been looked down on for being into 40k and being into Warhammer all of their lives. And now, all of a sudden, people that used to tease them, that used to reject them, are now in their hobby, and so they feel entitled to say, hey, now it's my time to shine, you're a my time bitch. That's the prevailing attitude of a lot of people, I think, whenever they get into this kind of rigmarole, especially with women. And Anorio Chic says that really well, in that she says, look, these guys have been rejected by women all of their life, so when they find a woman in their own hobby space, they're going to react in some of them will react in a hostile way. I understand the logic. I don't think it's right, but I totally understand the logic, and that's why I picked that one out. If I didn't pick out your response, by the way, thank you for getting in touch with me. It is in this video somewhere. I haven't picked it out to read it out, as a thing, So don't get offended, but it will be in the video somewhere. The ideas will be in the video, right? Okay. So, Ninetails from Ontario says, and Ninetails has sent me in a Hobby Nightmare in the past, I think. I recognise the name. She says, and I quote, "Yeah, I do. A lot of guys I've come across are stand-up dudes, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, they took me under their wing and showed me the ropes, expecting nothing in return. That was really cool. Like here in Canada, a lot of the time that we go out, we won't let dudes pay for drinks when we're in a bar situation. As then, it's kind of like you owe them something. It's that kind of culture sometimes. 40k is the only place I've come in where I was just accepted right off the bat. In fact, I found it a lot easier to make friends here than a lot of my male friends who are into the hobby. I do get that's because being a woman here is a novelty, and maybe even a few of them wanted to get in my pants, but didn't act on it. I get that's probably the reason why I'm more popular than most guys, but I'm just admitting that this happens. I understand. Look, I met my boyfriend at the local gaming club, so you can't really blame dudes for shooting their shot with a girl who is into the same stuff as them. Like, that's gold dust to them. The problem is when they keep coming at you, or if they take your no as a personal attack. I guess being turned down in your safe space, quote-unquote, of the hobby, instead of out there in the real world, makes it a lot more real and a lot more hurtful. So, I try to come at it that way. Show a bit of empathy, you know what I mean? The shitty stuff happens though, for sure. I've been called a slut or a thought or whatever when I posted pics at a con or at Warhammer Fest when I've flown over there, or Las Vegas, or a Las Vegas model convention, and other things. That shouldn't happen. But I try to see the people behind it as very damaged. They are to be pitied before you move on. Anyway, sorry for rambling. No worries. Yeah, and again, another great point in why these things occur in our hobby space. I think if a guy shoots their shot, as she just said there, as Ninetails just said, listen, if you find a woman in the hobby, guys, shoot your shot, go for it. You know, talk to her. You know, find out what she likes, have a nice time. You know, just talk to her, throw a bit of flirtation there if you want to, and if you feel like, you know, you want to get with this person, shoot your shot, ask her out. If she says no, move on. Just move on. Say, look, I get that. What do you say we just be friends? And if she goes, yeah, I'd like that. Cool, let's do that then. And move on. And move on. Okay? I'm telling you now, a woman will be more impressed that you come back with that kind of attitude than they would be if you walked away with a sulky face. Right? If you say to a woman, hey, do you want to grab a drink sometime? And you're in a hobby event, she goes, no, I'm okay, thank you. I'm just here to do some gaming. And you go, okay, that's cool. Well, how about we be friends? Or how about, you know, we just chat shit about the hobby then? Most of them are going to say, yeah, cool, let's do that, you know? And the ones who don't, walk away. Just walk away. Because now you know, if she's not even interested in being friends or in talking hobby shop with you, then you know that's not the person for you. Just walk away. Walk away and cast it out your mind. But I get what she's saying here. Rejection in the hobby space is a lot different to most nerds than being rejected out on the street. This is your safe place. This is the place where you feel happy, and now it's been tainted by this rejection that you felt from this other person. The only way to deal with that, dude, is to either not ask the person out, which I don't recommend, because then you become a bit of an incel, and you're rocking back and forth and getting more and more frustrated. No, learn how to speak to women and ask them out. And if they don't want to go out with you, say that's no problem. How about we just remain friends, and you can show me how you painted that model over there. Cool. As long as you do it in a normal way and you're not being creepy about it, dude, she's gonna say yes. She's gonna go, oh yeah, cool, that's fine. Right? And she'll be much more impressed with that attitude, so much so that you never know, down the line she may change her mind. Maybe she's not in that frame of mind right now where she wants to date. You don't know how other people are feeling, right? But I do get what she's saying here. You know, it can be that a rejection whilst you're in your own safe space can hurt that little bit more, okay? Alright. The next one has been requested to be anonymous, because she's quite frightened of doxing herself, which is fair enough. Anyway, she says, and I quote, when I said, as a woman, do you feel welcome in the 40k space? And she says, and I quote, "Oh yeah, I do, but I also get the bad stuff quite a lot. Weirdly, when working for Games Workshop, I didn't get anywhere near as much shit as I do now. Striking out on your own is hard enough into the hobby space online, but yeah, a lot of comments on pictures I put up mention how my ass looks, or even if my makeup is a bit wonky." And in brackets she says, "I mean, I may have woken up an hour ago, guys, come on." I tried cosplay for the first time a few weeks ago, and whilst most of the comments were good, you only tend to notice the ones talking about how you look like a whore or are farming out your looks for clicks, which sucks absolute balls. I mean, my mum saw me in that cosplay before I went to the con and said I looked great and she was really proud of me. I don't get why some random person would try to bring someone else down like that. In large, it's an awesome place to be, but it does happen, yeah. There have been more than one set of pictures that I could have uploaded that I haven't because it may get some backlash from that crowd, and sometimes mentally I'm not in a place where I want to deal with it. That's fair enough. This is it though, boys. You could have more racy pics from me, tasteful ones of course, if others weren't so toxic about it. Not that any of my pics are over the top, but hey, I've thought about doing more cosplay, and a lot of space nun stuff does tend to show off the figure. I'm just kind of terrified of the backlash, to be honest, so I don't think I will ever get to the point where I want to open myself up to that much hatred. I try to be positive and accept positivity into my life. Anyway, thanks for reaching out. I'm glad I could give a statement this way rather than on a recorded call because I giggle a lot. It's really annoying. No problem. By the way, stop putting yourself down. Stop putting yourself down, right? Laughing's good. Laughing is good. This is the thing that I wanted to touch on. Okay? Normal dudes should be really annoyed at guys who go after women for showing racy pics. Why? Because we get to see less boob. The more people rail against it, the more people are toxic about it, the less boobage we get to see. Because it drives people away. And I mean tasteful boobage. I don't mean stuff that's out there, like, you know, dangling in your face. I mean tasteful stuff. You know? Gentleman stuff. You're like, oh, she looks very nice in that outfit. Lovely. You get a nice bit of dopamine, and you move on with your day. Right? We get less of that, because more guys are like, oh, why are you being an e-thought? Why are you doing that? Dude, shut up. Shut up. We all like boobs. Right? Can we just admit that and move on? Right? The more you admit that to yourself, that it's not a bad thing to look at, then, yeah, or they're not invading your hobby space, you might actually get laid. You know, I'm just saying. Listen, here's the point, dudes. Here's the point. If I'm me, I wouldn't have sex with somebody who hates me. Right? Especially if I'm a woman. If I'm a woman, I wouldn't have sex with somebody who hates me. Would you? If you're a woman, would you gladly have sex with somebody who hates you? No, of course you wouldn't. So why do you hate them then? Because it is the most counterproductive mindset ever. You can admit that we're different, you can admit that there are annoying things that they do, and you can even be coolly aloof and get women that way. You can be. But hating them, there's a difference. And that's the thing I come across a lot of the time with dudes. When they say, hey, I go out and I'm quite stoic. I don't need women to look at me. I don't need them to be around me. And I still don't get laid. Mate, two things on that one. One, you don't believe it deep down and they can see that. The desperation's still there. And number two, no, hating women isn't the same as not needing them. I love women. Women are great. Right? My life would be a lot poorer without them. It really would. But I don't need them. That's the difference. I don't need them. I'm okay. I'm fine on my own. I live a good life. I make decent money. I look after my family first and my friends. And when I go out, they act like they want to be around me because they do. Because I have a good friend circle. You know? That's attractive to people. Going out with a leather jacket on, with the collar turned up, and acting like you hate women doesn't attract anybody. Makes you look like a douche. And I think a lot of people, when I say this kind of stuff, they take the wrong message home with them. The message isn't hate women. The message is don't need them. Know your own shit, know your own worth, and be there for your friends. Don't need them. Okay? And this is exactly what this girl's saying here, right? Exactly what she's saying. Is, look, a lot of you would get a lot more action if you just stopped hating. And I'm glad somebody said it. I'm glad somebody said it. Anyway, moving on. So let me show you some evidence now. Let me show you some evidence. So Kaya, one of our lovely members, one of our lovely people over on the Discord, she has her own YouTube channel that I will link below. It is below. So this is going to be a bit of a downer, to be honest with you, because if you look at this picture here, that's a lovely picture. There are cats in that picture, and so I approve, right? And I have noticed that the colour of the cat is matched by the colour of the Titan, which is fucking adorable. Now, this was posted, as far as I'm aware, to Reddit and a few other places. Just as a, hey, look, I've got a Titan, and my warlord may be about to get knocked over by one of my cats. That's funny, okay? It's a light-hearted thing. It's not really a big thing, and Kaya's there in the picture, looking at the camera like, yeah, this is cool, I'm playing some 40k. This is not a raunchy photo. I think anyone can see that. This is a normal, bog-standard photo with a couple of cats on it. And a Titan. Your eyes should go to the Titan, let's be honest, right? It's a cool model. Let's look at the reaction, shall we? Because I think we can all say this is not a racy photograph. Yeah? This is not an e-thought, e-girl photograph of somebody licking a joypad or a model. This is somebody being like, I'm rolling some dice, this is awesome. Hey babe, grab the camera, this is really funny. One of my cats is about to knock over my Titan. That's the kind of photograph this is. It's family life photograph. It's awesome, right? Alright, let's see the response, shall we? I'm just going to leave this on the screen for maybe a couple of minutes. I'll have a sip of tea while she have a little read. Do love Yorkshire tea. Yorkshire tea's the best. Alright. So, look at this guy here. This must be fake. No way you can have a biological female and Warhammer figurines in the same room. Dude. Is this who we are? Is this who we are? If you recognise yourself on this picture, I'm not going to say you need to get a life. I'm not some sort of white knight person. You know me. I'm all about male mental health. I'm all about helping you guys get laid. This ain't the way, Chad. This ain't the way. Alright? This ain't the way. This is revolting even to me, so God knows what it does to women. If you want woman repellent, yeah, well, this is what you are. you are woman repellent. As in, if I need them to get away from me, I take one of you guys, I put one of you in front of me and one of you behind me, and I just walk through a crowd of women and watch them part like the fucking Red Sea with Moses. Right? Gone. This is kind of pathetic. And the fact that this goes on is a detriment to our hobby and everybody in it. Okay? And this, again, this isn't a woman championing, rah, let's take down the patriarch. You know that's not who I am. You know I don't think that exists. You know I'm on your side. And even I'm saying to you as a bro, dude, don't do shit like this. Because the more you do shit like this, the less of us can meet women in the hobby. Because all this does is drive gorgeous women away from doing the hobby that we like. We want more of those here for the right reasons. Girls like Kaya are here for the right reasons. They're here to enjoy the hobby, have some fun, and roll some dice. If you want to meet a woman like that, these guys are repellent. They are the anti-magnet. They are pushing those people out of our hobby. If you want to know why you can't find a good woman in the hobby, don't look to women, look to pissheads like this. They are the reason why you don't find women at your local store. They are the reason why you can't get a hottie when you go down to roll some dice. They are the reason why there is no eye candy when you go to a hobby store for 99% of your time there, unless you're into really fat dudes with pants hanging around their arse cracks, right? These are the reason why. Got nothing to do with women. As per usual. I say this all the time. If something's wrong in the hobby, guys, it's your fault. If something's wrong in your relationship, 9 times out of 10, as the guy, it's your fault. You set the tone. You set the tone. You decide what your hobby's going to be like. You decide what you're going to tolerate in a relationship. Okay? You set the tone. And if you'll put up with bullshit like this, that means the rest of us have no chance of meeting somebody in the hobby. Because these dickheads drive them away. Now, imagine if you did actually post a racy photograph. Let's say Anonymous before. So Anonymous told us that she would quite like to do quite racy cosplay every now and again. You know, tasteful, like you can't see anything, but you know, you can see the figure. Now imagine if this photograph gets this response, what do you think a racy photograph will get? Yeah, exactly. There's less boobies in the hobby because of dudes like this. Guys, I don't want to say we need to be better, because I hate shit like that. I don't like man hating. I hate it. Men will be men. Men will be men. We like boobs. Sue us. We like boobs, right? But there's ways and means of going about it, and this ain't the way, champ. This ain't the way. This ain't the way. This ain't the way. I have a multitude of videos where I speak about how to do it. I'm not going to do it here. There's more than enough videos where I speak about how to do it, how to approach people, how to get better at talking to the opposite sex, how to make sure that when you meet somebody in the hobby that you don't freak them out or creep them out. There are ways and means of doing it, and I talk about them all the time. This video ain't about that, and this is not the way to do it. Okay? These people do not represent the hobby. They do not represent what we are here to do. They just don't. They have nothing to do with us at all. There are so many cool chads and cool people in this hobby that deserve dates, that deserve a good person who's into the same stuff that they are. There's so many of you out there, and these guys are making sure that never happens. Because if I was a woman and I was thinking about getting into 40k and I saw this as a response to this, I don't think I'd be here. I think I'd go and find something else to do. And someone else to do. Rather than you. Right. Back to the video. Let's wind this up, shall we? So, in closing, it does seem like there is a problem in the hobby with things like this. Let me be clear. Let me be very frank and very clear. Showing interest in a woman is not a crime as long as it's respectful. Flirting and things like that, all grand. Almost every lady I've reached out to that I either know personally or I've met through Discord or whatever, almost every lady I reached out to, even if they didn't give a detailed statement, they mentioned that flirting happens all the time, in one form or another, and they simply think it comes with the territory. Right? They accept it, dudes. They accept it. They know they're entering a male space. They don't mind being flirted with 9 times out of 10. As long as it's respectful. They don't even mind being asked out. As long as it's respectful. When they say no, or if they are interested, they'll say yes. But as long as you're not creepy about it, they don't care. They understand they're in a male space and it comes with the territory. Put it this way. Here's a personal story from myself. When I was a bartender in the US during my time there, when I needed to make ends meet, I needed to make a little bit more money, right? I was in a bar, I was running a bar where a lot of mums would come in on a night out in the local suburban area. And I would get interest and phone numbers and flirtations and even, on occasion, inappropriate touching, which I backed away from immediately and warned them about it, right? But I was a barman in a place where hen parties hang out and alcohol is drank. It comes with the territory. I am in their space, and I put myself there. If all you have to put up with is flirting and the occasional person asking you out like I did, I don't think a lot of women I spoke to have an issue with that at all. They don't. They don't. Approach away, gents. If you think you're getting a bit of interest from a woman in the hobby, okay, approach away. Go and talk to her. Have some fun. Ask her out. It's when this crosses the line when things get ugly. The comments about someone's looks, the hate and rage that follows any kind of rejection, the constant commenting online showing your sexual frustration by taking it out on someone just showing you a cool model they made, get the fuck better. That shit needs to go away and pronto, or none of you are going to get laid. Alright? Alright. I did say it'd be hard medicine to swallow. I love you a long time. I will speak to you tomorrow for some more Hobby Nightmares. Have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. And hopefully, you know, we can change this place together. We can make it a really cool place to be. And, you know, more boobs. Hooray. You're right. That's the thing. I've been saying it throughout the entire video. I do it from a man's point of view. You know, the reason why these people aren't here is because they're chased away by the ugly part of the hobby that shouldn't be here anymore. Love you a long time. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a good one. Bye now.